Hello, we're here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I am at a Burger King in Guaynabo, which has power. It's open. We just ate here and they have Wi-Fi, which is the only reason that I'm actually able to talk to you right now is because there's Wi-Fi. I haven't been able to get my phone working at all. I have zero connectivity anywhere we go. It kind of comes on for a few seconds and lets me get messages out, maybe one here or there, but it's not working functionally. It's definitely not a mode of communication. So we're here, we're in Puerto Rico. Our team is actually inside the building meeting with the mayor of Guaynabo and then also the director of municipalities here for the entire island. So we've been talking to them and asking them questions about everything that is going on. We got in yesterday morning. There is gas on the island. There is gas on the island. There are still people moving. As you can see behind me, there's an entire line around the building for the drive-thru at Burger King right now, which still has cold drinks and hot food, which is very rare. There's they believe that this Burger King is open and there's a Subway open on the other side of the street, but there's lines around the building for everything. There's lines around entire city blocks that go back over a mile, 2 miles for gas. People are lining up on one day to get gas the next day. People are spending 2 and 3 days waiting for gas. They're having to switch with their families and take turns sitting in the cars waiting for gas for days. There's 2 separate lines. There's a line for civilian people, which is miles, and then there's another line for government workers. And then if you are active military, you're allowed to skip the line and go straight up to the front and get gas or whatever it is that you need. So people are still getting gas here. There's a cutoff of you can get some places about $15 worth of gas. Some places on rare occasions are allowing you to fill up, but most places are only allowing you to get a little bit. So people are still only have enough to actually go a little ways. Nobody's really overusing gas. So as we've seen here, the roads are basically empty. There's no traffic whatsoever. People are not going to work. People are not traveling much because of the shortage of gas. I was told that there will be a large shipment of diesel gas on Monday, enough to power the generators. It's going to take days probably for the traffic of the gas stations to die down, but it should stabilize at some point as they get larger shipments of fuel in. But even the gas stations are running on generators because they don't actually have power. There are only 2 very, very small neighborhoods in Puerto Rico right now that have actual on-the-grid. Okay, all right, we're back. As I was saying, there's 2 on-the-grid neighborhoods. They're very small, maybe a few hundred people in each one of them that have actually gotten power. So and they were just reestablished power a few days ago. So they're reestablishing power little by little, very, very little. But it'll still probably take 3 to 6 months for all of the power to come back. So that's a very long process. We've spoken to many people here who they're not going to be working for 3 to 6 months. There's no use of credit cards. It's cash only. There's no jobs for 3 months. So there's going to eventually hit a point where people aren't going to have money and they're not going to be able to do this. So people are living on reserve cash and the banks are running low. There's everything that is actually open. There's just lines around the building. You're going to wait 12 hours to go to a bank to get what little cash they have. There are reserves on how much you can get of anything, of the groceries, of the gas, of the cash, of whatever it may be. So if you are coming over here for any kind of volunteer effort, bring your own food, your own supplies. We brought enough food for all of us to last for 3 weeks. Hopefully that is long enough. I know that it is very hard to get flights out. We were just speaking with them inside. They said immediately after the hurricane hit, there was a wait list of 25,000 people trying to get off the island. That wait list is down by more than half now. It's closer to around 10,000. There is still 689 gas stations open on the island. They're just not giving out full doses and it takes a very long time to get to it. But there are still grocery stores that are open. This is in the city of San Juan, which is different than the rest of the island. There are a lot of parts of the island that are way further out and they do not have the same resources that San Juan has. So San Juan is doing much better than these outlying areas because of their close proximity to supplies and to resources like gas. So the people who are out in the country, they do not have these resources. They do not have the ability to go out and get these things. And the roads have been blocked off. There's one of the things you notice here right away, there's no leaves on the trees. The leaves are gone. The island very much reminds me of what Hawaii would look like if there was no leaves on the trees. So what used to be fully covered in foliage and plants, and they said it was one of the luscious summers that they had, just covered in greenery and everything and bloomed with flowers and fruit. Now it is dead, like dead. Everything is dead. Everything is knocked over. There are no leaves on the tree. Everything is on the ground. Where the property that we are staying on now, they said there were so many trees you could not see any of the other properties, but now you can see everything. You can see all of your neighbors. Everything is open because all of the trees are gone. All of the greenery is gone. So all of these trees have fallen. They're blocking many of the roads outside of the city that nobody has gotten a chance to get to yet. So it is not easy to get out to these areas, but we are told that there is over 100 helicopters that are going multiple times a day to these outlying areas and providing food and water. I'm not sure that they're providing enough food and water. I'm not sure that they're really meeting the demand of what is happening there, but there is at least some relief that is being provided to the outlying areas via the helicopters. There's a lot of organizations that are setting up to give out donations here. We're working to get trucks now. We have one truck. We're working to get more. We're working with officials here to try to get more vehicles to take things out. I am told that there are still 14 regional hospitals that are open, functional, their generators are running, and that FEMA and different organizations have worked very hard to make sure that anybody who was on life support or who was in one of the other hospitals that is no longer functional, they were transferred before they shut them down. So they have made sure to transfer people out of hospitals that do not have the generators anymore, but there is still 14 functional hospitals with generators. There is still functional animal hospitals within the city. So people are making it work somehow. A lot of what we're going to do is to clear these roads so that supplies can be transported in and emergency vehicles can be transported. There are still people on the ground. We've already touched base with the police, who are also trying to get volunteers to come and help them. They're bringing in volunteers to come and help the power companies to reconnect. They're bringing in volunteer tech people and electricians and engineers to come in and try to work on getting the power back up. So there's a lot that's happening on the ground here. We haven't had a chance to get to get outside of the city yet. We've been in the city the whole time so far, so I can only comment on what we've seen here. I can't comment on what is out there, but we are going to be working our way into those areas. We're supposed to leave the city on Tuesday and go out west. So I just wanted to give everybody an update while I have a little bit of a connectivity. Again, we're actually at a Burger King in Puerto Rico that is still serving food and still taking care of people and still has Wi-Fi and electricity. There's a mall that people are able to charge their phones at. So there are a few options here and there if you are able to maintain gas and things like that, which is actually a really big problem. And the house we're staying with an elderly family who survived the hurricane fine. They had a window broken out, the deck broke off. There's a lot of roofs that were broken. Again, the mayor that we were just speaking to, he said that they do need many volunteers to replace and put tarps over the roofs that have caved in, and that because they just had a shipment of over 1,000 of these large roof tarps, and they do need teams to come put these tarps on the roof. Not suggesting that people fly out here. Do not fly out here unless you already have something in place. We came over with a 14-person team with the Doing Good Foundation, and we already had housing, transportation. We already had all of our ducks in a row before we ever got over here, and we brought enough food for ourselves and our entire team for at least 3 weeks. So if we had not been able to do that, we probably would not have come. And we are staying with a local family, and we touched base with the local officials and government agencies before we came over here, which is why we're kind of able to get in and figure out what they need. We've just been speaking to them for the last 2 hours of what is the best way to utilize volunteers at this time. And that was one of the things we just talked about, was coming in. They need people to actually help lay down these tarps on these roofs and secure these so that people will stop getting water into their homes. The home that we are staying in had the deck ripped off, and it had the sliding glass window shattered by the wind. So, and then the trees fallen so that the driveways are blocked and the cars cannot come out. And there's a lot of elderly people who are experiencing this. So we cleared their driveway so that we could get the vehicles out, so we could take them out to get them gas. But that's a huge hurdle, is these trees they're down everywhere. They're down everywhere. The trees are down. The signs on the highway are down. Signs on the side of the street are down. So there's a lot of damage, and it takes a lot of time to get that out. And there's no like forklifts that are operating. There's no cranes that are operating to come clean up the streets and get things out of the way. So again, we're going to plan to backpack out on Tuesday for that one. So we're spending today and tomorrow meeting with different officials in the San Juan area to see how we can utilize resources. Today we're going to meet with the FAA to get access to a hangar where we can have supplies shipped so that we can start transporting them out. They also have several supply hangars already full and don't have people to transport them, because you really do need a large truck, like an off-roading truck, to be able to transport them out to the outlying areas, which becomes an issue because at this time, if you are not like active military or a government official, you can't fill your gas tank. You can only get the $15 worth of gas, and then you can't do anything but that. So you can't get from San Juan to the other side of the island and come all the way back if you don't have reserve gas. So that's something that you do actually need to have connections to government officials to be able to do. Tito, yes, we do have people on the team who can operate radios. If you want to send me a message, I can coordinate with you of how to get that over. We do have a place where we can have supplies shipped. We're having some solar ovens shipped and some generators shipped already to Fort Lauderdale, where we are storing things and then chartering a plane over. We have a plane who will, it can carry 10,000 pounds, and it'll go back and forth as often as we need it to. And we just have to pay for fuel costs, which we are getting at cost. They're giving us like a 30% off discount, which is amazing, just so that they can bring supplies over. And after today, we should have a hangar at the airport to be able to ship supplies directly there if you're able to get supplies flown over here, which hopefully people can. We're working on getting 8 generators over now. I put the link in this video if you want to donate to those fuel costs. We're going to try to get this plane going back and forth as much as possible. And we have 1 truck. We're working on getting more so that we can start taking things from the hangar to the other side. Again, we have 3 Marines who are our active pathfinders, guides, mentors in this, that are helping us through. And then we also have a team of 4 local people who know the area. They know how to drive the area. They know where to go. And we are staying with a local family. So we have the ability to get things from one side to the other that other people may not have. And we have the ability to offer services that other people may not have. So we're just doing everything we can to see how we can be most useful. There's so much to do here. It's kind of hard to decide what makes you most useful, but clearing the debris and making sure that supplies can get out to the other side is pivotal. There are helicopters taking supplies out to the other side. So hopefully people are receiving them. Everybody who needs them is receiving them. I know a lot of people have heard reports of crime and attacks. I don't think that's any more true than it would be anywhere else in any other situation. But in any situation like this where there's a disaster, you're going to see some people act out in ways that you wouldn't expect. But that's nothing new, and it's not in any way centralized to this area. It's centralized to natural disasters and being in fear of food and water. So there is some of that. It's not necessarily in the city. The city seems to be functioning quite well. Given the circumstances, seems to be functioning quite well. There still are things that are open, still people driving. The signal here, the cell towers, there is almost non-existent. But you'll see when you're driving, the highways are so empty, but you'll see that there will be these clusters of like 3, 4, 5 cars parked on the side of the highway. That means that they are getting signal. So there's like these little signal sections where people have literally just stopped on the side of the road because their phones are actually working and they're trying to get calls out to their families. So connectivity is a huge problem, and there's obviously no Wi-Fi. There's very few cell carriers that are working, and people are powering their homes with generators, and it's almost impossible to get enough gas to keep everything powered. So people here very much need gas and fuel because the power's not coming back anytime soon. These people are actually going to have to live off generators and like diesel fuel for 3 to 6 months. That's a really, really long time. And even prior to this hurricane, the power plant employees had been cut down drastically. At one point, maybe 10 years ago, there was 9,000. Prior to this hurricane, there was 5,000. So there already a shortage of people who can work on this. And with many people not able to work on this because they're at home, they're trying to make sure that their families are fed and have water. Water is a huge issue. You can go to stores, Costco, there's going to be, they're rationing the water. You can only get so much. Some places are charging more for it. It doesn't appear as if most places are charging more for it. But the most I heard so far was people paying $10 for a case of water that would normally be somewhere around $4. But you are still able to go get it, but you can only get small amounts. People are trying to catch rainwater now that it has started raining again, but it has been dry for several days. So we are going to try to catch rainwater for our clothes and stuff. If you can send solar electricity, again, they have supply hangars. The FAA is controlling the supplies coming in. They're sort of controlling where they're being stored, so that's why we actually have to go talk to them today to see if we can get a hangar to put supplies in. All the supplies are there, and we're making the connections to be able to take those supplies and get them out, because there are supplies that are sitting because they don't have transport to get over to other sides. So I will try to post an address today, this afternoon, as soon as we get one, so where people can actually send things either in Florida that we can fly over, or in Puerto Rico, if you can actually find a way to get things sent over. It's not as easy as it looks. We also have a team of people who are doing welfare checks and keeping track of that. And this is our first several hours in the island, so I'm just kind of updating on what I've learned so far, what I've seen so far. There's much more. Again, I've only been here for 24 hours, barely, so can only report on what I've seen so far. But I think I went over most of it. Mail is, there's no mail right now. Everything has to be flown over. Everything has to be taken over from one of the other airports. So that's what we're trying to do now. And we do have a storage facility in Fort Lauderdale. We had things sent over from New Jersey, but we had to charter a plane for that as well. So, and we have another plane coming out on Friday with supplies. We also have a transport plane that is used for animals specifically. So we are working to get animals off of the island as well. I know there's been several shipments already of people at the, getting their animals off of the island. So we are looking to have, we're going to take that plane and fill it with cargo and have it dropped off with cargo and then have them take the animals back. So that is what we're working on now. Again, we're inside now with the mayor of Guaynabo, and we're just working to see what else we can do today. I think that's about it for today, but if you guys want, I will walk you inside and show you that there is actual regular life going on inside of a Burger King in Puerto Rico, and give you guys a small shot of the team. And again, I put the donation link in the description if you can donate to the team so we can keep these planes flying over with supplies. See, we have a Burger King. We have a Burger King. And the Burger King even has a working bathroom. So there is still at least running water here. We were able to fill up water bottles here in this bathroom. There are a couple other places where you can fill up water, and there are a couple of oases that you can go and fill up water. So again, if you know anybody here that is in need of help, that you maybe a family member you haven't heard from, or a family member that you know needs water or food and is and needs service, please let us know. It is very hard for us to get messages, but I'm doing my best to check them, and we're keeping written lists of the names that we're receiving. It's very helpful if you tell us what area that they are in, because again, this is going without technology, without using internet to find people. This is just kind of hopping here and there and seeing if somebody knows somebody. So if you send their area, that is very helpful. And if anybody has information that can be helpful while we're here, please do so. Please share this video out so we can get at least some information coming out of here. We'll try to get more photos and videos as we go on. We have the GoPros. We're ready to go to get as much footage as possible on the ground. I'll show you a little bit behind me. See, on the road, see, all of these trees used to be large, luscious, like green trees, and now it's just barren, pretty much like across the city. So that is the update from Puerto Rico. Thank you guys for watching. Please share it out. Please share out the donation link above. Again, it's the Doing Good Foundation, and they have sent us out with a 14-person team of tech specialists, Marines, rock climbing specialists, pathfinders. We have media. We're still looking for a medic. Our medic was not able to come because there came a point where she needed to be back in 2 weeks. She knew if she came over here, she had to come back in 2 weeks. And part of our condition of coming out here, we don't know if we'll be able to go back in 2 weeks. We don't know if we'll be able to get flights in 2 weeks. Again, there's maybe over 10,000 people still waiting to get flights out. And the people who are coming to volunteer do not take priority when it comes to leaving. They do not get to say, oh, I came here to volunteer, so now you fly me back. That's not really how it works. Everybody is on a waiting list. So once you are here, you are on a waiting list if you want to go back. It is not hip hop over to Puerto Rico and come back. So okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know how much else I can give out today, but I will try to connect as often as possible, and if I have to, I will just come to this Burger King every morning and try to get information out to everybody. We're going to go around the island and take some pictures today and meet with more people and get out as much information as possible, and eventually we'll have it in Medium. Hopefully we'll write something out for them. So thank you guys so much, and keep your prayers going for the people of Puerto Rico. The people are very much working together to help each other. Everybody seems to be, that we've spoken to, seems to be in good spirits. And I don't think one of them, I have not heard one person that I've actually spoken to in Puerto Rico say that they expect the United States government to come and save us, or that they have any faith in that happening. I haven't even heard it mentioned as an option. The people seem to be gathering themselves, knowing that that is not going to happen and that it is up to them. The local government here really is working to provide for people, and it's wonderful because I don't know about politics here. I don't know the political situation here as well as they do, but that's not even really the point. It doesn't matter if this senator or this mayor or this council member is someone who is an amazing politician. At this point, if they have food and they have a vehicle to help us get stuff to a family that very much needs food and water, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what your politics are at this point. And that seems to very much be the case in the conversations that we're having, that there is no discussion of what these people's politics are or what they agree on or do not agree on. It is just, how can I give you license to go help people? We've had people offer cars, vehicles, so people are very much throwing in everything they've got to help each other and to make sure that their neighbors are okay, and the people in their city are okay, and the people in the outlying cities are okay. So prayers of strength and solidarity with the people of Puerto Rico, and we will update again as soon as possible. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.